I'm not using my school one. I'm using the one that my dad bought on Thanksgiving.
Okay. Oh, you've got a Ninjago Lego set. That's
And
very
that's for my
cool.
dad. Okay, in the background.
The treadmill is. Rihanna, how was your week?
Me and Sid actually planned to get that on an online like WhatsApp call.
Are you going to put it all together with Sid?
No, I don't know.
No? Why not?
I don't know if he'll.
Oh, okay.
But
Looks like Rihanna left the call.
haven't
Oh, there
opened
she
it.
is. You haven't opened it yet? Rihanna, how was your week?
It was kind of bad because I got pricked. On Saturday, I watched Thor Ragnarok. No, I watched Superman and Batman: The Dawn of Justice on Ultimate, and then on Sunday I watched Thor Ragnarok.
That sounds very fun. Ahana, why was yours bad?
Because it is.
You had 9 days off of school. That's fun. I saw that, and I didn't get to respond yet. You said you've got, because of Winn-Dixie, that you might start reading?
Yeah, but I decided to do it on Farmer Boy instead, even though.
Farmer Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Okay, well, let's start our day with the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto. And Darshika, I don't think we heard from you. How was your time? Yes, Darshika?
Miss Ganga, I just want to ask a question.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Yes.
So, how many books should we read for the book review? 2 books?
Just one for every quarter. So you need just one.
Oh, I am reading 2 books this quarter.
Whoa, good. You can definitely do more. And Sai gave a thumbs up too. I know you turned yours in quite early. So you could even start on the one that's not due until like March. You could get a head start on it.
Yeah, and what's then in Black Beauty you told in the second question you told Black Beauty was in a then she was what happened?
You know what,
to Black
Darshika,
Beauty
we'll not
after
get
this?
into specifics of a certain question. You can let me know about that later, okay? You can email me.
Okay.
Well, let's start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto. Would you all join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement. Please join me for a moment of silence. Okay, take out your whiteboard and marker, please, for some spelling review. Ooh. And I'm going to bundle up with some blankets over here because it's so cold at school. Are you all able to bundle up at home with some blankets?
I went outside.
I'm getting these new like slippers for my like inside home sock thingies that I can
Oh,
wear.
shoes.
Not just normal, but like socks. Not like the shoes that you wear, but socks indoor.
Oh, Darshika's got some cute ones.
I'm gonna get them on Sunday. No, I have them like boots a little more.
Oh, cool.
It's
So it
coming
keeps
on
your
Sunday.
ankles warm too.
My
Devansh,
mom
how
has
was
them.
your Thanksgiving break?
It was good. I got to sleep a little late, and then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we went to someone's house.
That's fun. Okay. Sleep at 10 every day. That's fun to stay up later than usual.
Sunday, I gotta sleep like at 9 still, and I woke up only at 9.
I was in California, so I'm on West Coast time still. It would be nice to sleep in a little bit longer. An early morning today. But it's good to get back into routine. Was anybody starting to get kind of bored? Yes, Krish?
On Friday, this is kind of so funny. On Friday, I slept at 5 o'clock.
I slept at 6 o'clock.
At 5 p.m. you went to sleep?
7 o'clock.
Yeah, and I woke up at
Or
12.
AM. AM or PM?
I saw AM because I saw a movie at 2 o'clock, and then I saw 2 movies at 2 o'clock, and then I went to sleep. So
Chris, you're
Wake up.
One
When did you wake up?
friends also came to
Miss Gardner.
Yes.
One time I had to sleep at 5:03 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. Because
I hate it when that happens.
and then my alarm went off at 6 in the morning.
Oh,
So I
I'm
basically-
sorry, sweetheart. I hate that.
I
Okay, boys and girls, we've got to put ourselves on mute now. And we have a mastery test coming up on Friday. We'll go over some words that will be on that test, but let's start with just a couple of phonograms. Please write the phonogram ooh, just ooh. Well, even if there's not school, that sounds exhausting to have so many of you stay up way late.
Some
Oh,
kids
my
are poor in India, they can't even go to school.
What's Isanov?
Some people are poor in India and they can't even go to school.
That is true, that there are parts of the world where people don't get to go to school. It's a privilege in America that everybody can. What made you think of that, Isanov? Next, boys and girls, please write the phonogram, 2 letters, the Greek phonogram. 2
Actually,
letters.
some parts of the world some parts of the world, and I've been to India, and I can't I see people that are poor that can't even go to school.
Yeah. It's so sad because having an education means that you get better opportunities later in your life. So if people don't get to have an education, then that really limits the types of jobs and places they can go eventually.
What was the phonogram?
2 letters, like in science. Okay, and then please write, oh, and this is 2 letters. This is going to be in a couple words that we have today. Next, please write R. And after that, please write E-A. E-A. And last one, O-U-F-F-A-Ow. Okay, those are all the phonograms for today. Next, we'll do a little bit of spelling word review. These words will be on Friday's test. Let's start with the colony words. Colony. And we'll also write colonies, plural. Colony, colonies. Check that your spelling matches mine. Next, let's write colonial. Colonial. And colonize was the last one of the colony words. Tricia, put the cupcake down. You need to be writing our spelling words. And you're making us hungry. That's the other reason to put it down. Colonize. Okay, those are all the colony words. Let's also write sure and assure. Sure is a short, simple word, but it's a thing to spell. We think to spell sewer. Not sewer like the sewers, ill, but sewer. I know those are so gross. Make sure we double the S in assure. Sure and assure. Tricia, please double the S in assure. They should look like this. Sure and assure. Next, distinguish. We'll have that as the last one. Distinguish. Oh, I don't have enough space for it. There. Distinguish, distinguish is the way we think to spell it. Okay, that's all the spelling review for today. Let's erase our board and take out our binder for a new spelling lesson. And we've got a couple of words today using this 2-letter phonogram that we just wrote. Our first word today is ascend. Would you all say ascend? Has anybody heard this word before? The word ascend means to go up. Like, I need to ascend the tall building by climbing the stairs, or we'll ascend the mountain on a hike. So ascend means to go up. Then we'll look at the antonym descend, which means to go down. So ascend, would you all say ascend? Ascend and descend. Ascend, descend. Now the first one, ascend, we think to spell ascend. There's an unstressed syllable at the beginning. And we're going to use that Greek phonogram. Would you all say ascend? Ascend, 2 syllables. We have a saying its name in our first syllable, open syllable. And in the next syllable, what are the sounds? S, a, n, d. 4 sounds. Use the 2-letter phonogram. The rest is basic code. Pick up your pencil and write ascend. Yes, Arima?
You accidentally called it Greeks, but I think Greeks is PS.
No, that's not one of our phonograms. This is 2 letters, but it is also a Greek phonogram, so I call it both of those. But there isn't a PS one. Good thought, though. Ascend. We think to spell ascend. Ascend. And make sure we're using the 2-letter phonogram. Give me a thumbs up when you're done with that word, please, boys and girls. Okay. Okay. Oops. A syllable break. S, and ascend. In our first syllable, we have in an unstressed syllable, so it gets a thinking cap. We have a 2-letter phonogram there, Two letters. That's it. This word's a verb. Ascend. Now, the antonym or opposite of it is descend. This one means to go up. Descend means to go down. For descend, just change the first syllable. The second syllable stays exactly the same. It'll be D-E, E in an open syllable. Please write descend. Descend. And give me a thumbs up when you're finished. D-E. Sorry, that's a weird D. I'm going to cross that out. D-E, syllable break. S-E-N-D, descend. E says its name. Descend. Two letters. The Greek phonograms. And the rest is basic code. This word's also a verb. Descend. The only thing that's kind of unusual is to make sure that we've got that two-letter phonogram, which is one of our unusual phonograms. Next, please write the word, or not writing the word yet, but our next word is finally. Would you all say finally? Like it will finally be December tomorrow. Which, in my mind, makes it seem like it's Christmas season. Who's excited for the Christmas season? Does anybody like to look at Christmas lights in your neighborhood or around town? I think that's really fun.
I actually stood up a tree yesterday.
You put up a tree? Nice.
Me too. We got a tree on like Thursday.
Nice.
I just like getting presents from Santa.
Just presents? That's the only thing you like about Christmas?
Well, I do like the
Me
lights
too.
and all those other stuff too.
What
Because
about
my dad's
Christmas?
And
gonna
our New Year's
my dad's gonna put some lights on the roof. My
Oh.
dad's gonna put some lights on the roof and a couple of projector lights on the ground so it just projects.
Oh, I've seen those. Those are cool. Okay, so
Oh,
descend, or finally is our word. Like it's finally going to be December tomorrow. Now, just with a show of hands, who has decorated for Christmas a little bit around their house? Nice. Okay, so finally is our word. Would you all say it with me? Finally. 3 syllables. What sounds do you hear in the first syllable? I, 2 sounds. I says its name in an open syllable. Next syllable, what do you hear? N, a, ol, 3 sounds. This is that al suffix which says ol. So final, we think to spell final. And finally, it's the adverb suffix ol-e, 2 sounds. What makes that e sound? Yeah, I-e. Good job. Please pick up your pencil and write finally. Make sure you have a double ol. Double ol. Finally. Thumbs up once you're done writing it, please. I, syllable break. N, a, o, syllable break. There's the base word final, even though that's not one of the spelling words. O, e. Finally. Okay, show me how we mark this. In our first syllable, how do we mark it? Thank you, Rihanna. Underline I saying its name. Next syllable, final, has that ow that says an ol sound. And over here, our ly adverb suffix, finally. Oh, and sorry, I forgot also to double underline this. Thank you for those of you who recognize that. This one ends up being silent. And good job, Adarsh. Third vowel sound of yeah, it, I, e. Now, because of that suffix, what part of speech is it? Adverb. Good. Okay, the next word goes with it. It also has that base word final. We're going to turn it into a noun, finality. Have you heard of this, Arima?
I was thinking of finale.
Oh, that would have been a good one too. The finale of a show, for example, is the last episode. So finality is a word used in the context of, for example, they said with finality what the answer was, which means it's said in a way that's going to be the last word. There's nothing else that will be said afterwards. Finality. It's not used as often at your age, especially. Now, it has the same ending as electricity, finality, which makes it a noun. Finality. Say it with me. Finality. 4 syllables. The first 2 syllables are exactly the same. Final, which we think to spell final. Then in our third syllable, it, basic code, and last syllable, e, yet it, I, e. Don't double the L this time, okay? And please pick up your pencil and write finality. Finality. This is our last word. Okay. I, syllable break. N, a, o, syllable break. It, syllable break. E, finality. Which sounds pretty similar to finale, as Arima mentioned. Okay, so finality. How do we mark it? Come on, Tricia. Put the cupcake down. I says its name. Final. This time we actually don't need a thinking cap because it says an a sound. Over here, final it, basic code, e. Third vowel sound. This one's a noun. Okay, for our dictated sentence next, please write the sentence. We finally ascended the mountain. Again, We finally ascended the mountain. Now, we're turning it into the past tense of ascended. Add just the ed to past tense ending. Mountain, think to spell it as mountain. Okay, our whole sentence again. We finally ascended the mountain. Pick up your pencil and write it. We finally ascended the mountain. And go ahead and write other words as well to go with it if you finish early. Or Saisanov's reading a little book since he's done early. Oh, Rihanna's getting a head start on our very next book that we're going to read as a class, Princess and the Goblin. We are finishing up Black Beauty this week, by the way. We're going to find out what Black Beauty's very last home is like. Has anybody read ahead and already knows what's going to happen? We'll finally find out this week. Okay, let's go over the sentence. And if anybody has created one, I'd love to hear it. We finally ascended, sorry, I have the syllable break in the wrong spot there. Ascend. The mountain is the way we think to spell mountain. Okay, we actually can analyze this sentence too. So I'd love for a volunteer to analyze this whole sentence. We finally ascended the mountain. We know how to mark every one of these words. Oh, Arjun, are you reading Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Oh, that's great. Tricia, would you tell us how we mark each of these words?
So we is the subject.
Excellent. And it's not just any subject. What kind of subject is it? It's what we're currently learning about.
Pronoun.
That's right. It's a subject pronoun. Okay, keep going.
Finally, ascended is what you did, so it's the predicate verb.
Great. Sorry, this looks a little bit messy because I've done my markings for the word itself too. Okay, keep going.
And then finally describes how you ascended, so it's an adverb.
Nice.
The is an adjective. Okay, I'm not going to get ahead. The is an adjective because it describes the mountain. And mountain is the direct object.
Great job. Perfect on all of those, Tricia. Okay, now would anybody like to share a sentence that they created? Rashi, could you share yours?
So it's actually part of a fable, Jack and Jill.
Oh, nice. I'd love to hear it.
Finally, Jack and Jill ascended the mountain to get water.
Oh, nice. So you used the sentence that I gave, but made it into actually a story. I love it, Rashi. Did anybody else create a sentence? Darshika, would you like to share yours?
I told go ascend, then go descend, then you'll finally enter the race and the finality word will be there.
The word finality will be there. Okay, nice. And let's hear one more from Nethra. And you all can take out your well-ordered language workbooks.
I finally finished the book about ascending and descending.
Nice. Okay, let's take out our well-ordered language workbooks now and review our jingles. It's been a little while since we've done our jingles. So let's turn to the very back of our workbook, page 250, to see the lyrics to all three of the jingles that we've been doing most recently. Pronouns, subject pronouns, and antecedents. Who thinks they remember these songs? I hope you didn't forget them all. I hope not.
I've memorized them all.
Nice. Okay. I'd love for a volunteer to sing the pronoun jingle. I'll get you started in the tune. And feel free to stand up, move around, stretch as we sing as usual. This is the one that starts, a pronoun is a part of speech. Brianna, would you sing it for us?
I had my hand raised for the last question.
Okay, I'd love for you to still do it for us, though. That just happens on accident. I think that she meant to unmute herself again. Well, I'll have her do one of the others. Sai, would you do the pronoun jingle for us? Oh no, 2 people in a row. Maybe they're embarrassed and don't want to sing. That's why it's happening. Shatij, would you do the pronoun jingle for us? Don't leave the meeting though. Be careful.
I just do Control D.
Control D. Good.
Control D, yeah.
That's safer.
But one thing, in the words, do we not keep stress marks?
We don't use stress marks when we are marking the words, no.
Oh. A pronoun is a part of speech used in place of a noun or nouns. What? Did you say anything?
Nice. No, keep going.
A pronoun is a part of speech used in place of a noun or nouns. A pronoun is a part of speech.
Good job, Shatij. That was really nice. Okay, Sai, would you do the subject pronoun song, which goes like this? I'll start it off. Subject pronouns are in the nominative case.
What page is it?
Page 250.
It's not on 250, it's on 160.
Well, it is in 2 places at least.
Oh,
but 250 has all of the songs.
Oh, I never saw it on 250. I never saw it over there. I checked.
Subject pronouns are in the nominative case I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Subject pronouns are in the nominative case I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Subject pronouns are in the nominative case I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they.
Good. And the tune goes a little slower than that, but I like your pattern of saying it. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay, and finally, let's do the antecedent song. Nethra, would you do this one for us?
An antecedent is a noun, clause, or phrase to which the pronoun refers. If the antecedent is singular, then the pronoun is singular too. But if the noun, clause, or phrase is plural, then the pronoun must be plural too. The antecedent determines which pronoun is used.
Nice job, Nethra. Okay, so let's review how to analyze sentences with subject pronouns. Would you all turn to page 181 in your workbooks? (181). It's been a little while since we've done the choral response, but I want to walk through how we do that for sentences with subject pronouns. Now, we analyze it the same as any other subject. It just happens to be that it's a subject pronoun now. Page 181. Okay, I'd like us to go over line by line what to say for a sentence in our choral response. It's been a little while since we've done that. So remember that when we analyze sentences, we want to read it and really understand what's happening and make a mental picture. So let's do that part together before we even do any analysis. She did not run the ball aggressively. Can you say that with me? She did not run the ball aggressively. Now, maybe some of you are kind of confused by what that means. She did not run the ball. If we take a look at the next sentences, can you tell what sport it's talking about with running the ball? Darshika?
It's talking about soccer.
Excellent. The next sentences make it clear that it's talking about soccer. And it's saying she did not run the ball aggressively. Do you know what it means when it says aggressively? Ahana, could you tell us what aggressively would mean if you're playing soccer aggressively? And it's saying she did not do it aggressively.
Like you might be really competitive and you're like going really like fast.
Nice. So in soccer, that might mean being very competitive and fast. So she's just kind of lagging behind everybody else, not really running quickly, not being super competitive. Okay. Do you have a mental picture of that? Somebody not working very hard in that soccer game. Her team might be a little disappointed in her, right? So she did not run the ball aggressively. We always want to stop and make a mental picture before we ever do anything else. Okay, so repeat after me. This is a sentence and it is declarative. Our choral response is shorter now, so that's all we say. This sentence is about she. Your turn. Good. So she is the subject because it is what the sentence is about. Your turn. This sentence tells us that she did run. Your turn. Even though it says not, we're not going to say that. Why don't I say not? Why am I not saying that as part of the choral response? Chris, do you know?
Because not is an adverb.
Correct. It's an adverb. It's not part of the principal elements.
Yeah.
So this sentence tells us she did run. So did run is the predicate because it's what the sentence tells us about she. Run is a predicate verb because it shows action. Your turn. Run is a predicate verb because it shows action. There is no linking verb because predicate verbs do not need linking verbs. Your turn.
There is no linking verb because predicate verbs do not need the linking verbs.
Great job, Darshika. Did is a helping verb because it helps the verb. Your
Did
turn.
is a helping verb.
Thank you. And Darshika, I know you're unmuted accidentally, but I love that I was able to really hear that you're saying it back to me. Perfect. Okay. Now let's think through. Is there a direct object? Is there something that she did not run? Something. What is it, Sai? Correct, the ball. And boys and girls, you should always be thinking, if there's a noun after the predicate verb, if there's a person, place, or thing back here, it's direct object. So repeat after me. Ball tells us what she did run.
Ball tells us what she did run.
It is an objective element because it completes the meaning of an action verb.
It is an object. It is an objective element because it tells us what.
Let me slow that one down. And Drisha, I think you accidentally unmuted, but it actually was helpful for me to hear from you. It is an objective element. No, you're good. Tell me just that part. And Drisha, I'll actually have you stay unmuted.
It is an objective element.
Perfect. Because it completes the meaning of an action verb.
Because it completes the meaning of an action verb.
Perfect. It is a direct object.
It is a direct object.
Because it tells us what she did run.
Because it tells us what she did run.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll have Drisha unmute herself, and then Adarsh, would you unmute yourself?
I'm sorry for mistakenly, unmuting myself.
Oh, no, actually it worked out really well, Drisha. I like hearing your responses back so I can tell if you are tracking along with what to repeat. Adarsh, can you repeat after me?
Yeah.
Not tells us how she did run. Tells us how she ran.
How she ran.
It is an adverbial element.
It is an adverbial element.
Because it modifies a verb.
Because it modifies a verb.
It is an adverb.
It is an adverb.
Good. Could I have Ahna now unmute herself and repeat after me? Aggressively tells us how she did run.
Aggressively tells us how she did run.
It is an adverbial element.
It is an adverbial element.
Because it modifies a verb.
Because it modifies a verb.
It is an adverb.
It is an adverb.
Great. Okay, we've got one more, the. Could I have Devansh, unmute himself and repeat after me. The tells us which ball.
The tells us which ball.
It is an adjective element.
It is an adjective element.
Because it modifies a noun.
Because it modifies a noun.
It is an adjective.
It is an adjective.
Perfect. Okay, now we are done. Good job. I know we don't do this all the time, but it's good every so often to really slow down and check that we've got the choral response and are thinking through which questions are adverbs answer and adjectives. Okay, could somebody try to do that on their own with the next one? He slowly approached the soccer ball. Let's do this as well. And I want somebody to try to do it on their own, that whole choral response. You can look at page 161. That was the last time that we had a choral response with all of the words right there. Darshika, could you try it for us?
Okay, I'll go. This is a. He slowly approached the soccer ball. This is a sentence and it's a declarative. This sentence is about he. So he is the subject because it's what the sentence is about. This sentence tells us that he approach. So approach is the predicate verb because it is what the sentence tells us about he. It is a predicate verb because it shows action. There is no linking verb because predicate verbs do not need linking verbs. I'm just gonna slip.
Is there something that he approached? A direct object?
Yeah. Ball tells us what he approached. So ball is an objective element because it completes the meaning of an action verb. It is a direct object. It tells us what he approached.
Nice.
D and soccer is the adjective elements.
Good. So we'll say soccer tells us what kind of ball.
D also describes ball as an adjective.
Good. And so for the, we'll say the tells us which ball. They're adjective elements because they modify a noun.
And slowly describes the predicate verb because it's an adverb and it's an adverbial element.
Excellent. Slowly tells us how he approached. It is an adverbial element because it modifies a verb. It is an adverb. Great job. Thank you, Darshika. Okay, Arjun, I love that you're reading that book, but let's put it down now. I hope you're enjoying it. Okay, so please finish up these sentences for independent practice today. Also, we've got some little riddles that you'll be completing on pages 179 to 180. Let's do just a couple of them together. Basically, with these riddles, you've got a pronoun, and we need to figure out what the antecedent is. The antecedent is the noun clause or phrase to which a pronoun refers. So it is the pronoun. We're trying to figure out what the antecedent is. Could I have Krish read the little riddle for us? And then I'll have you also see if you can figure it out. Krish, what do you think it is in this riddle?
Okay, the first clue is it has a house for eggs to be safe. It's a tightly woven yet fragile. It is stored in bushes and trees. What is it? It is a house for eggs. It is a tight woven. I would go with a nest.
Who agrees with Krish? I think he's got it. I think it is a nest.
I know the next one.
Can you go
Because
down?
that is where it is.
Nice job, Krish. I think you're right. Okay, let's see if maybe Shatish, do you want to solve the next one?
Gardener, I already did this.
Oh, so you just got a head start, I guess. Shatish?
I did all of them, but one I didn't find it.
They all usually found under logs. They have 3 body parts and 6 legs but do not have wings. They have 1 queen but many workers. What are they? This is very easy. A bee.
I think that it's probably not a bee,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
even though there would be a queen bee.
Yeah, but it doesn't fly.
That's right, and it's found under logs.
Ants.
Do not have wings.
Ants.
Oh, yep, Arjun got it. Saisnov got it. Ants.
What? I never heard about ants have queens.
I was trying
They do. I know. Isn't that
whole
strange?
thing.
So just like bees, they have queens as well.
I knew they do.
Oh, I never heard about that.
I learned it.
And many workers, they have 3 body parts and 6 legs. Okay, I'll have you do the rest of those on your own. They're fun. Make sure that you've got, for example, plural and plural, and singular, singular. Yes?
One I
Miss Garner, it's ants because
Yes, Chris?
it says that they're usually found under logs. They have 3 body parts and 6 legs, but do not have wings. But bees have wings. Ants don't have wings.
That's right. That's the big
So that'd
difference.
be an ant.
Yep, that was a tricky one because it was almost a bee. So close to being that. Okay, we're going to stop there. I'll have you do the rest on your own. And let's go over the answers to those riddles tomorrow. Okay. Netra, I'm sorry, sweetheart. You've got to just wait until you're called on. I know you've got your little hand up, but sometimes I just have to wait until a better time for somebody to be called on, okay? Please take out your orthography notebooks, boys and girls. We are going to write down our words from today's lesson. And yes, Nethra, what was your question?
When I did it before, I had a riddle that I couldn't find the answer to.
Okay, sweetheart, we're going to just do those independently and we'll go over the answers tomorrow.
Okay.
And for the ones that you're not sure of, just write your best guess. Like with that one, you might not have known that it was an ant, but you could have guessed bee, and just write that down.
Is it lesson 40?
Yes, we're going to write lesson 40 on page 47. We had 4 words. Send is word 1. Please write send and sound it out as you write, boys and girls. We think to spell it as a send.
What page?
47. Next word, number 2, is descend. descend. Next is finally. And the last one is finality. Yes, Arjun?
Oh, no, nothing. No, 1 second. In this stuff, could we raise our hand to like say, yeah, I'm done with this thing?
You know what? Since your cameras are working, I'd love for you just to put your thumb up so I can see that you're finished. But I definitely want to use it occasionally for that reason when the cameras aren't working, because I can still see the hands up even if I don't see your faces. Okay, whenever you're finished, please turn to page 13. That's the only place we're going to sort today.
Isn't there anything to mark finality?
It's
Oh,
the
you know what?
antonym.
I just forgot to mark it. Thank you for saying that. Finality. Just a few markings.
And for ascend, should A be underlined? Because when we were doing it first, A was underlined.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Devansh.
It's the antonyms page I can say without looking.
Nice, you're right. So we are going to write the two words that were antonyms in our lesson, ascend and descend. Antonyms are words that mean the opposite. And that's exactly what these are.
Page 14?
13. Okay, and once you're done with that, we're going to take just a little time to go over a new poem that we're going to start this week before we begin our math lesson. Okay, so we've got a new little poem today called The Crocodile that we're going to be learning over the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas. It is a funny poem by Lewis Carroll describing a crocodile, and it's quite strange because it talks about how friendly and smiling the crocodile is, but you can tell me if it really seems like the crocodile is as friendly as it appears. Okay, I'll say it for us once and then we'll do it a couple times together. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale. How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws, and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. Do you notice anything unusual about this? His little smile as he's welcoming the fishes in. Isn't he a friendly guy? Smiling at them, welcoming the fishes in.
I think he's doing that to fake them out and try to eat them.
Like
Lie.
What is it, Ahana? Could you share?
he's being like really, really sly.
Being very sly. I agree with that.
Yes.
Gardener?
Doesn't
Hello, little fishes. Don't you want to come to me? as they go into his mouth.
Miss Gardner.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And the golden
Nice thought.
scales. And the golden scales are kind of weird. I don't think crocodiles have golden scales.
He's a golden crocodile.
Golden crocodile. Very interesting.
Sent from God.
Weird.
And he's improving his shining tail for some reason. I think the water is just glistening and the sunlight maybe is glistening off of him. Maybe the sunlight is what makes it golden. Okay, would you all say it a couple times with me? And I want you to act like the crocodile as you recite it. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the water of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin. Can you show me your crocodile grin? How neatly spread his claws and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll.
Oh.
Who thinks they can act like a wonderful crocodile? Rashi, would you say this poem for us and do your best impersonation of a crocodile?
Okay. The crocodile. Here. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin. How neatly spreads his claws and welcomes little fish in with gently smiling jaws. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll.
Nicely done, Rashi. I like your voice in it too. Sounded very formal. Okay, Saisanov, could you try it out for us next?
Yes. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws, and welcome to his little fishies with gently smiling claws. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I think we've got time for one more. Arjun, could you do it for us? Birthday boy.
The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pull the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws. Little fish with gently smiling jaws.
The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. Nice job, Arjun. Oh, so this is a really fun one. It's pretty quick, especially much shorter than our Thanksgiving and Adventures of Isabel poems. So I think some of you might even memorize it even like in a day. Who thinks they already basically know it? Let's do it one more time all together. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. The Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. Nice job. Okay, now let's start our math lesson for today. We are going to be reviewing for the next couple of days our multiplication, some concepts that we talked about for the last couple of weeks before Thanksgiving. And pretty soon we're going to start a brand new chapter, but it's also on multiplication. We're about to get into some harder multiplication, including 2 and 3 digit numbers times one digit number. How many of you have already practiced that type of multiplication? I know some of you in other areas. For example, 400 times 5.
Miss Gardner?
So that's what we're going to start in our next unit. We need to be strong in our multiplication facts before we start that.
Miss Gardner?
Yeah?
If you know your multiplication facts 1 to 12, it's still pretty easy even if you go on to 4-digit numbers.
I agree. Yep, that's why we need to know our multiplication facts. It's pretty easy later on, if so.
Yeah, 4 digits by 1 is easy. 5 digits by 1, you just multiply the same number, and then if you get a regrouping, you just add that number and then keep on multiplying that other number.
Exactly. So just like addition, you know how in addition, if you know your addition facts and you know how to add simple numbers, you could add through to the millions or billions because it's really no harder. You just have to do more steps of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take out our math notebook.
Even with 10-digit numbers times 1-digit numbers, it's easy.
That's right. So I know a lot of you are ready for an extra challenge. We may even, I didn't do this with my morning class, but with you guys, maybe we could do already a little head start in that type of multiplication. Would you all like that? I think we'll have time.
Yep.
Okay, so take out your math notebook. You're going to do just some review today and tomorrow. We've got a test. Actually, I think our test is on Thursday. So it's not until Friday that we really practice. Oh, no, it's Wednesday. So Thursday is when we start that type of multiplication. Okay, so today we're going to review some of the ways that we have visualized multiplication problems, making pictures of our information.
Nice enough, you're unmuted.
Okay. That was beautiful though, Saisanov.
Yes.
Okay. Time for some math notes and review today. By the way, boys and girls, this afternoon, Marcus, who's a student in the 8:30 class, he has a birthday today. Adarsh, are you planning on going to it? I sent the information to your parents on Parent Square, and you can join for a virtual birthday party. And he said he and his dad might be doing some chemistry experiments. Yes, Adarsh?
I was gonna say I already know because my mom said, like Marcus has a birthday today.
Yes, and so I know some of you don't really, well, actually, you all met him when we did class all together last week. Yeah. So you met Marcus a little bit then, but it would be so great if you could join the Google Meet, even if it's just for a little while. I send it on to your parents, so if you're available at 5 o'clock to join the Google Meet, I think you'd love to see you. Good.
I have class 45.
Oh, it's not going to work for you then.
Chess class. Is it today or when is it?
It's today at 5:00 p.m.
Okay.
Miss Scott.
And the 8:31?
Yes, he's a student from the 8:30 class, but it's for everybody at 5:00.
class.
Okay, so I know some of you can't join, unfortunately. Nethra, I saw your parents say you would join.
Oh. It's not about that.
Okay,
You're gonna
let's start on our math notes. Everybody keep yourself on mute. And today is November 30th, last day of November. Tomorrow's December 1st. Who's ready for December? This is Math Chapter 6 Review is what we'll call it. Chapter 6 Review. We'll continue reviewing tomorrow as well. Okay, so one of the ways that we have been talking about multiplication is to write a multiplication problem as for example, 4 times 9 is the same as 4 blank blank 9. What are the words that we use to really think about what 4 times 9 is truly saying? Sai, what words go in these blanks? We've been talking about this pretty consistently for the whole lesson. Go ahead.
4 groups of 9.
Perfect. Groups of is what goes in the blank. 4 groups of 9. And there's a lot of different ways that we can show 4 groups of 9. We've talked about on a number line, with an array. You could physically have 4 little groups with 9 things in each of those groups. We've done it with skip counting. But we always want to think of it as 4 groups of 9. Now, as an array, this is one of the best ways to really visualize a multiplication problem. We could do something like this where we draw 4 little circles down. These are our 4 rows. And 9 rows across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then fill it in all the way across. And this is an array. Four rows, 9 columns. Please fill in your array. 4 groups of 9. Thank you very much, Arjun. Yep, everybody else can hold it up when you're done.
If you're done quickly, can you read?
Yes, certainly. I'm so glad you're loving that. Arjun, I mean the book.
Yeah, and Rihanna has it.
And Rihanna, are you currently reading it too?
I finished it, so I'm just rereading it.
What chapters are you both on?
Right now I'm reading
About to be on 6.
series. I'm right now reading chapter 14.
Chapter 14, okay. And you're 6. Nice.
I finished the whole series, I think.
I'm in chapter 4 or 5.
I'm reading Percy Jackson, and I'm almost going to finish the chapter 5.
Did any of you read a lot over the Thanksgiving break? No, Shatij?
I just
Rima
got my
did,
book
Darshana
yesterday.
did.
Gunner, I couldn't read anything because I just got my book yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like everybody's about done with the array. Let's go ahead and put those books away for now. Hopefully we have a little bit of time to talk about those later in class though. Now, one more way that we have talked about showing the multiplication problem is through number lines. Okay. A number line is a great way to visualize skip counting by a number. For example, taking this exact same multiplication problem we've been looking at 4 times 9. Remember that we think of it as 4 groups of 9. So we want there to be 4 groups. Each one has 9 in them. Make sure you're really thinking of it that way. 4 groups, not 9 little groups of 4. 4 groups, each with 9. So if we start here at 0, let's just skip count by 9s, not fill it in with all of our numbers, but just skip count by 9s and write those down. So from 0, what would be the next number that we write down if we're skip counting by 9s? Arima? What would we write next on our number line?
9.
Correct, 9. Now we're skip counting by 9s. Adarsh, what would we write next? Or you can just think of 9 plus 9 equals
18.
Perfect, 18. Saisanov, what would come after that? If we're skip counting by 9s.
27.
Excellent, 27. And one more, then that will be done with our 4 groups. What is the last number? And this is also going to be the answer to 4 groups of 9. Could I have Rashi tell me?
36.
The last number, 36, perfect. And let's circle that. That is our final answer to 4 times 9, or 4 groups of 9. Okay. Something else that we have done in this chapter is go over multiplication problems where you have 3 factors. Now, each number that you're multiplying in a multiplication problem is a factor. If you have 3 factors, we multiply 2 digits by each other and then multiply their answer by the 3rd digit. And it doesn't matter which order we go in because you'll always get the same answer. In this one, 5 times 1 times 9. Shatij, could you unmute yourself and solve it for us?
Five times 1 times 9 will be, so 5 times 1, that equals 5, and then 9 times 5, that's 45.
Excellent. So 5 times 1 is 5. Then times the 9 is 45. Let's try another one of those. 4 times 3 times 2. Can you all solve that independently? Multiply any 2 digits, but it makes the most sense to just go in order and then multiply that answer by the next one. Hold it up as soon as you're done with that one. Nice job, Adarsh, Rihanna, Nethra, Devansh. Thank you, Arjun. Nice job. Okay, very good. So the answer is, it looks like everybody got it right, 24. No matter what order you multiply them, you'll get the same answer. You could have done 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Let's do it in a slightly different way now. Okay. If I said 8 times 5 times 2 is the same as 8 times blank, what would go in that blank? 8 times 5 times 2 is the same as 8 times blank. Write it down and then hold it up. So it's 8 times blank. Okay. And thank you for those of you who also solved it all together. Now, first of all, Devansh, what goes in the blank? 8 times 5 times 2 is the same as 8 times what number?
8 times 5 times 2 equals 8 times 10, which equals 80.
Excellent. Now, 8 times 5 times 2, we multiply those to find out what's that other number we multiply 8 by. And then 8 times 10 is 80. Great job. Okay, one more. The last part of our math chapter was on division, using multiplication facts that we know to solve for division facts. So let's take the multiplication fact 5 times 6. What does 5 times 6 equal? Ahana, what does 5 times 6 equal?
5 times 6 equals 30.
30, perfect. Now, if we know 5 times 6 equals 30, we can solve for 2 division facts as well. 30 divided by blank equals blank, and 30 divided by blank equals blank. Tell me what 2 division facts we can solve for based off of this one multiplication fact, 5 times 6 equals 30. Great job, Brianna. I'll have you unmute yourself in just a minute to share. Nice job, Devansh. And I like that you also added an extra multiplication problem in there too, Devansh. Okay, first of all, Rihanna, could you tell us the 2 division problems we can solve based off of this one multiplication fact?
30 divided by 5 and 30 divided by 6.
Okay, and what are the answers to those 2? 30 divided by 5
is 6, and then the other is 5.
Excellent. It's just the product, the answer to our multiplication problem, divided by one factor equals the other factor. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6. And what's the other multiplication fact we can solve by knowing 5 times 6?
6 times 5.
Well, yes, she was right. 6 times 5 also equals 30. So basically, learning one multiplication fact can help you solve 4 problems just like that. Okay, now I told you we could do a harder multiplication problem. Are you all ready for it? Now, if this is a little confusing, it's okay. We'll slow it down and take more time on it later this week when we start on our unit. But I think you all are ready for a challenge. So starting later this week, we are going to begin doing 2, 3, and 4-digit numbers that we are multiplying. So let's take a look at this one. 240 times 2. 240 times 2. Let me loop those so they look a little more clear. This one blends in. Okay, so who already knows the first step in solving a multiplication problem like this? And I'm going to keep it simple with this so that we don't regroup yet. But there will eventually be regrouping, just like in addition and subtraction with multiplication. Adarsh, do you know the first step in solving this problem?
Okay, but that wasn't my question. But do we have to do it like what you write it?
You know, I'd love for you to create another problem of your own, but first we're going to do this one. What's the first step, Adarsh? I'll give you a hint. It's the same place that we start for addition and subtraction.
So you have to so 0 times 2 equals 0.
Excellent. So just like in addition and subtraction, we start in the ones place first, and we multiply 0 times 2, which equals 0. What's the next step? Shatu?
The next step will be 2 times 4.
And once we multiply those, what's the answer?
8.
Correct. And we put the answer in that tens place because it's the tens that we're multiplying.
Will we do 2-digit division like 42 times 925?
No, that's not something actually we'll do until 4th grade. But
I had a class that's for 3rd grade, and that was few of the problems, like something like that.
That's not a 3rd grade standard, so that must have just been a really good challenging program for you to do even extra.
Oh, I do 5th grade, so I don't need to worry about that.
That explains it. Okay, and finally, the last step is the 100. So 2 times 2 is 4. 480. So this is what we're going to start on later on this week, as well as some ones that we can do actually mentally, like this. 20 times 4. Without writing it like this, stacking our numbers, we can solve
80.
This one. Good job, Arjun. How did you solve it?
So 2 times 4 is 8, and then you just add a 0.
Correct. So we could also do, for example, 200 times 4 with that same logic. Because 2 times 4 is 8, then we just add how many zeros there are. So that's what we'll start later on this week too. That's really fun. I love mental math like that. It's fun to have some strategies that make us solve problems so quickly, right? Devansh?
For the first one,
Looks hard, but it's easy.
for the first question, so I understand the first part, the ones place, but for the last place, the hundredth place, I didn't understand that part because 4 times 2 equals 8. Then that's the tens place, but I didn't understand why we put the 4.
Okay, so the first, let me do it in colored pencil. And we'll spend more time on this later, but we're good on time, so I'll just go ahead and slow it down for us now. Okay, so 240. That doesn't work. 240 times 2. Okay, so ones place, 0 times 2, 0. We put the answer to the ones down here in the ones place. Next, it's our tens. In the tens place, there's a 4. So we multiply 4 times, still the same number, 2. 4 times 2, 8. We put down here in the tens place. We multiply all of these numbers by this same digit down here. So what's the next step, Devansh?
2 times 2 equals 4.
Exactly. So 2 in the hundreds place, still by 2. We're always multiplying by 2 down here. 2 times 2 is 4, so that's in our hundreds place.
But what if it's like 240 times 240? Would you still use the 0 for that?
That's a great question. That one gets more complicated, and then we do these steps over and over again for each of these other ones. So it takes about 3 times as long because we just have to repeat the steps over and over.
Okay.
So that's something that maybe in 3rd grade we can get to just as a fun challenge, but it's actually not part of our book for 3rd grade. Okay, so that's just a fun little preview for what we're going to be doing later on this week as we start our next multiplication chapter. At this time, I'd like to just quickly go over what you'll do for Bright Thinker assignments today. In science, it looks like I got a couple of emails today saying that you all could not access maybe the study guide that was a PDF, but there are questions, just assessment questions for that study guide that I'd like you all to do instead. I'm going to present my screen to show you that. So here it is, the Ecosystem Study Guide. There is a video today. I have Mrs. Campbell's video going through the study guide for ecosystems. We are finishing up that unit this week. And you'll have questions that are the exact same as that study guide. So you won't be able to access the document, it looks like, but you can. Oh, and you're getting a little preview of the answers. Let me move away from that. Okay, so I'll move over to the student app and you can see this one. I've got so many things on the to-do list since I don't usually do.
I have a question.
Sweetheart, you've got to stay muted unless you have permission. Okay, so these are the exact same as that other study guide that was linked. So just don't worry about that linked one and do the questions and solve it that way. And I'll send that document to you later. Don't worry about it for now, but you can still do it this way. And tomorrow, your assignment is simply to study this information. So if any of you would like to print off a document so that you've actually got a page filled with the questions and answers, then I'll make sure that it's working so that you all can actually print it off and study it that way. So all of these are questions directly from the test. Explain how photosynthesis works. Describe the 3 types of symbiotic relationships. What is an example of a decomposer? What is a decomposer? Some of these are really short, like an example of a decomposer, you can just write one word, but you've got the whole text box there to write it. In photosynthesis, producers use blank from the air, energy from the sun, water and nutrients from the soil to make their own food. Mrs. Campbell walks through all of this with you in the video. But if any of you would like to try as much as you can on your own and then just check the answers that way, that's a good option too. So these are all from your notes as well. You should, if you've been taking notes along with the videos and along with what's posted in Bright Thinker, you should have all of these definitions in your notes. Okay, now over to history. For history today, you've got 2 assignments. Some of you might have already done this, but you've got chapter 12, which has some information about gladiators and chariot races. Did anybody watch that already and read about gladiators? Who can tell me what a gladiator is? Arima, could you tell us about gladiators?
Someone that was forced into fighting wild beasts or other humans.
Well answered, yes. They're forced into fighting others, and they were fighting to death. Fighting to the death. It was up until somebody either was killed or they killed another person or animal.
Miss Gardner, your voice is breaking up.
Yeah.
Very sad they were forced in. Now, the chariot races were better. Right? Races are kind of like race car driving.
Miss Gardner, you're lagging.
Today,
Your voice is breaking.
there are people who might have died or gotten injured because of dangerous.
After go on mute, it might work then.
Sorry about that, boys and girls. We lost
I think she lost
internet school here for a second. Okay, so I was done presenting my screen anyway. But for history, we also are going to be reading a little story about a gladiator named Androcles and his friendship with a lion. Could somebody summarize that story for me? Arjun, tell us a little about Androcles and the lion.
And I wrote a paragraph about that one
Good.
that you told us to do.
I'm excited to read those stories.
So Androcles was a slave who escaped his master. And then he was inside a cave and he met a lion that had a thorn stuck in his right paw. And then he gently took it out of the paw. Then they became friends. But then after the Roman people found out, the Roman soldiers found out that he was a slave that escaped his master. It was known back then that a slave that escaped his master should be gone in jail. And then after a few days being in jail, he went to the gladiator. And then after getting in the gladiator, he met his friend Lion again. And then instead of fighting, they got friends again.
That's right. So it's basically a story that teaches that sometimes when you do something nice for someone, they're going to repay the favor and do something nice for you. And it actually saved Androcles' life by taking the thorn out of that lion's paw, doing something nice. It actually saved his life in return. So I'd love for you to all write stories based off of that theme and that lesson. Did anybody also write their story? I'd love to hear kind of in general what the story was about.
One more thing. Wait, can I tell one more thing, Ms. Gardner?
Yes, go ahead, Arjun.
Like, how did the lion become to fight Androcles? How did that happen?
You know, they captured wild animals just to fight against these gladiators, sadly. So it wasn't just sad for the gladiators, but a lot of these wild animals, they were forced to go in there. Now, it's not a very realistic story, but
yeah, that's why it doesn't even tell why how the lion got chosen.
Yeah, and in real life, it's not very likely that an animal would remember the difference between people like that and actually just be loyal to Androcles. So it's not supposed to be very realistic. Yes, Rashi?
So like my story is like based on this fox and this girl named Ivy, and like they become friends from Ivy like helping the fox, and they like grew up together.
That sounds really sweet. A little girl named Ivy?
And like actually the fox, I didn't really name it, but like it was badly injured.
And she helped it?
Yeah, but and like Ivy's mom was a vet, so they so soon her the baby fox's injury soon healed.
Oh, that sounds really sweet. I love that.
And so the repayback that like so like they were like walking in the woods because like Ivy and her family lives in the woods and she loves exploring in the woods. So like they're walking in the woods, but this like this bear, I just did this in my imagination, but this bear was laughing at them, and like he even like teased Ivy that she began to cry, but this is really funny to me, but like the fox got very mad and bit the bear, and then so the bear ran away with such pain.
Oh.
Can I share my story?
That's a really creative story, Rashi. I love that. Yeah, Drisha, let me hear quickly from you. And then we need to start on reading groups pretty quickly. So go ahead, Drisha. And we'll have more chances to hear everybody's stories tomorrow after I see the submissions.
My story is about a girl called Drisha, and she went to the jungle and found a unicorn. The unicorn's magic was drained out of magic from her horn, so she gave it back, and they came into the army, and when a war started, Drisha almost got stabbed. And, well, I named her Dash because she was really fast.
Oh, that's a cute name.
And Dash actually used her magic to put like a force field kind of thing. Like he used her magic to protect her from the enemy, so she didn't
Sounds
get
kind of
stabbed.
like the Incredibles too.
Mm-hmm. Not really a force field, but just use the magic.
Okay.
And
well, I am excited to hear more of these stories. Just very briefly, I was going to mention for Black Beauty that we are finishing up the story this week, and we'll find out Black Beauty's last home that he stays in. And in today's reading, you'll find out where he goes after leaving Jerry and Jerry's family. So we'll start reading Princess and the Goblin after that. Just next week is when we'll start that. So we'll have more to talk about later with Black Beauty. But at this time, I'd love for just my reading group to stay with me. My Monday group, I've got Sai, Adar, Shatij, and Ahana. I'll have everybody else head out of the meeting. I might see you at 5 o'clock for Marcus's birthday if you're going to join, hopefully. And the meeting link. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Are there any Black Beauty notes?
Miss Gardner?
Oh, have you been enjoying taking those notes? I can post them. Yes, I'll post them in Bright Thinker.
Miss Gardner?
Yes?
So all of our classmates are invited to Marcus's birthday party, but we get
Yes, everybody in both of the classes.
So where do we want to come?
I sent the message to your parents, so they have the Google Meet link.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Devansh. Okay, so I don't know where Ahana went, but we'll go ahead and start without her. Maybe she'll realize that or I don't know what happened. But do you all remember where we left off in the chocolate touch?
No, we didn't read for a very long time.
Was it not the week before Thanksgiving that we were reading from it?
I think she was about to go to Susan's birthday party or something.
I think you're right. Okay, boys, show me. Did we read about the trumpet music class?
What?
Did we read about the trumpet?
Yes, we did. It turned into a chocolate trumpet. We read that.
So I think we're on chapter 9 then. Yeah, let's start on chapter 9.
Oh,
okay, should we begin?
Okay. Oh, the shame of it. The militia. Wait, what word is that?
Write a little more slowly. Humiliation. And humiliation means to be really embarrassed, to cause a loss of pride or self-respect. So it means really embarrassing.
John wept breathlessly as he ran, shocked and frightened, indignant
Indignant. Let's click on this one as well. Oh, well, that's not very helpful. But it means like kind of just surprised.
Oh. And angry at the world that had suddenly turned against him.
Mm-hmm.
If the world turned against him, he would have been dead. The world should have thrown him out.
I know, it just feels that way to him.
Mean old things, John thought, blaming Mrs. Plimsoll and Mrs. Quaver for his failures. Wait, who's Mrs. Quaver? I remember Mrs. Plimsoll.
Mrs. Quaver is the music teacher. So it's the music teacher because it was. What's that?
I got kicked out. And are we supposed to be recording or not now?
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. We don't need to record anymore.